Hey there, I'm TJ Hoisington, and welcome to Unleash Your Greatness Within podcast here on YouTube. Listen, I just got finished interviewing Evan Carmichael. He is the YouTube superstar in the area of personal development. If you haven't seen his videos, which I would be surprised, but if you haven't seen his videos, I would encourage you to check him out. But we spent the next 20 minutes that you're about to see, we spent the 20 minutes talking about life, talking about success, talking about high performance, talking about bouncing back from failures and those kind of things. We talked about following your heart. Anyway, without any further ado, I want to invite you to watch this video and make sure you leave your comments below. I would really appreciate it. And if you're not a subscriber of mine, please hit the button subscribe. All right, I wish you the best. Let's jump right into the interview.
You already know. My passion and my mission to help you unleash your greatness within. My heart goes out to the underdogs that's on their way. If you think you can go from good to great, okay, let's motivate. GreatnessWithin.com. TJ Hoisington. Greatness.
All right, so let's jump right into it. Evan, welcome to Unleash Your Greatness Within.
Thanks a lot, TJ. Good to be here, man.
It's great to have you. You know, I've been watching your videos. They're powerful. We are obviously in the same sort of industry around personal development. Before we get into that, could you share with the listeners a little bit of your story, your history, your background?
Sure. I'll go super quick, and then if you want to dive deep on something, let me know.
Okay.
Growing up, I had entrepreneurial tendencies a lot, starting from being 5 and making some art and selling it to my neighbor for 10 cents through to baseball cards and a whole bunch of different things. But I never knew about entrepreneurship, so I thought I wanted to be a banker. High school yearbook, where you're going to be in 10 years, said, VP at a bank. Went to university, met 2 entrepreneurs. I joined their business because I didn't want to regret losing that opportunity, and sucked and failed and hated my life at the early days of entrepreneurship. Worked my way through it eventually, sold the business, built it, sold it, went into venture capital, then made it my mission to try to help other entrepreneurs as well. And I started by speaking. That evolved to my website, that evolved to my YouTube channel, and now Instagram. And I'm trying to solve the world's greatest problem, untapped human potential. And I think that's something that we're both kind of aligned with. Totally aligned with that.
So I'm curious, where was the transition to, because I think you're really strong in the whole and correct me if I'm wrong, maybe there's another area that I'm not aware of, but YouTube is kind of your game right now, and you are doing a great job at that. Where was the transition to go into that, and how were you able to make that a success? Are there any hidden clues or secrets there?
Yeah, so YouTube, we've got about 1.4 million subscribers, 200 million views. I started on YouTube because I'm a visual learner. And I prefer to watch video than to listen to a podcast, even though we're doing a podcast here.
Sure.
And I think you just have to understand your learning style. So I'm much more of a visual learner. And I also wanted to, help entrepreneurs, as well as I love modeling success. I love learning from Steve Jobs and Tony Robbins and Elon Musk and whoever it was. And so I thought it'd be cool if somebody could share those stories. And like a typical entrepreneur, instead of just complaining that nobody had done it, and just went out and did it. And at the start, it was just a distraction project, like a little side project. I had my main business, but it was something I was passionate about, and I invested more time into it. And as I started seeing some results, I moved from a video a week to a video a day, to 2 videos a day, to now 3 videos a day, building up my team. We can go deep on specific YouTube tactics if you want, but it started off as a place of, I genuinely felt like this was needed for myself, and I hope that other people would want to follow my journey and learn what I'm learning as well.
So that's good. So was the past business that you were in, that you built, did that have anything to do with the whole personal development, human potential arena?
I think your purpose comes from your pain.
Yeah,
and
okay.
I struggled so much as an entrepreneur that, that I just wanted to make the path a little bit easier for the next generation. And I think that's just the human condition. I think if you struggled with anything and you've made your way through it, you want to make the road a little bit easier for the people who are currently dealing with that same thing. And so I chose to focus on entrepreneurship because I struggled so much as an entrepreneur. My core value is believe, and so that's more the human potential side of things. That comes from my parents. You guys can't see it, but I've got a believe t-shirt on. I got my parents on my wall behind me that I walk into when I go into my office. And so I apply that one word, that core philosophy of believe, to entrepreneurs because that's the area that I have the biggest impact on.
And boy, have you had an impact. You know, I love that whole, you know, you find your purpose through your pain, or what was the phrase you used?
Yeah, I believe your purpose comes from your pain. Yeah.
Your purpose comes from your pain. I mean, I remember in 2000, from 2000 to 2004, I had almost lost everything. I was a young entrepreneur. I had left the Tony Robbins organization. I was one of his corporate trainers. And I thought, you know, leaving the Tony Robbins organization, that I could make it a success overnight, right? I left his organization. I was confident. I was on top of the world. And I asked my parents if I could, you know, just stay in the basement of their house with my little family, because my other house was my house was being rented out. And they said, of course. Well, I only said I'd be there for 2 months. Well, those 2 months turned into 5 years. And it wasn't until I was backed up against the wall, pain, right? Backed up against the wall, that I wrote my first book in the backseat of my car in 2004. And that book, in a matter of just literally a few months, became a bestseller. And within the first year, an international bestseller. So I am with that. So anyone who's listening, listen and pay attention to those painful moments. And then I would think, pay attention to the decisions that you make without giving up, and see what doors are available to you. So my question to you, Evan, is, what would be some of your advice when it comes to pain and dealing with your back's up against the wall? What do I do?
Yeah, so I think a lot of people try to forget about the past pain. I think especially entrepreneurs, we're so, you know, optimistic. We want to make the world better. We're trying to live in a positive place, that I had actually a hard time remembering some of the super painful moments, and I don't like going there. But instead of trying to forget and move past it, if you can go live there again, just as a reminder of what it felt like, so that you can then help other people. Living there and dwelling on mistakes and the hurt doesn't help anything. Right. But if it allows you to connect with the people who are currently going through that situation, and I think that becomes your path. Like, the reason why I came up with purpose from your pain is it's one of the most common questions I get is, what's my purpose? How do I find my, people are walking around with no purpose. They don't know what it is. And I think everybody has Michael Jordan level talent at something. I think you can be a genius at something. And I know that, like, unleash your greatness is what you're all about. It's great. But people don't know how to find it. And I think it starts with that. It starts with understanding some of the pain and trauma that you've been through, whatever that was for you, and then create something amazing. You know, every great organization, every great entrepreneur who started out of a pain that they had, and then they wanted to go off and solve it. And so diving back into your past to think about what were some really painful moments, and then how can you turn that as a kick forward, not a kick down. Not that, you know, you suck, but you're going to now help others and make it better. And sharing the story, I think, is how entrepreneurs win. I think too often we're afraid to share. A lot of people be afraid to share your story. Like, you're coming out of Tony Robbins' organization, you're on top of the world, you're improving people's lives, and you're sitting, you know, in your parents' basement, and it's 5 years. Like, that story is what makes people human. It's what connects people to each other. And I think so many people who are trying to start a business try to be so corporate and so professional. And it's not that you can't be professional, but the thing that's going to make somebody want to work with you and connect with you and your mission is your story. I need to know why this is so important to you. Why is this pain so important? And if you're telling some, you know, fluffy story, it's not going to work. But if it's true and real to you, then that's what's really going to draw people in.
Evan, you're speaking to me. You're speaking to the core. You are giving me advice right now. You know what? I don't think I've ever led really strongly with my story, that story that I shared with you. And I it's out there, but it's not out there in a big way, right? I tend to speak and share like you do with your videos, right? I'll share a lot of stories from biographies and other achievers and so forth, right? I try to deflect a lot away from myself and just really highlight the legends, if you will, that are out there. But I hear what you're saying, and I'll take it to heart, right? I need to probably do a better job about leading with that personal story a little bit more. So
yeah, I think that's the essence of thought leadership. I do these workshops in Toronto where I help train thought leaders to make money off their ideas and thoughts. And I had this woman come through who really struggled with depression and almost killed herself multiple times, and then made her way through it through meditation and changing her environment and all this kind of stuff. And she was embarrassed to say that story. She was embarrassed to tell her friends and just the public knowing that she had depression and almost killed herself because she had this persona. If we're talking about depression and suicide, it's something that I care about, but I haven't gone through it.
right.
The only thing I can say is I think it's really bad and it's holding a lot of people back, but I have never tried to kill myself. I've never been in that state of depression. And so you're not going to listen to me talk about it. But if you can come on and say, like, this is what I suffered through, like, you can talk about having to grind something out. You could talk about how embarrassing that might have been to be however old you were and hanging out with your friends or living with your family and you're still in your mom's basement. Like, you could talk about that and it's real. And that's what's, and then when you give that advice to somebody, it's like, they know how hard it is because you're telling them how hard it is because you went through it too. You can resonate with them where other people, they won't be able to do it. So like, that is the path through that pain, that hurt, that, that is the way. That is the only way through. That's the way to break through the noise.
Awesome. Thank you for that advice, man. Okay, so in terms of, I know our time is somewhat limited today. So in terms of personal development, in many of your videos, you are highlighting the habits, the actions of some of the top achievers out there, which is awesome. What is your philosophy in terms of, as you studied all these people, what do you think, for those listening, what are some of the core elements of success that would be useful to our listeners, if you will?
So I think the number one rule that comes up consistently, and we've covered people who are, I started just entrepreneurs and we've expanded to athletes and musicians and innovators and politicians and like anybody who's had success from any walk of life. The number one thing that they all have in common is the love for the work that they're doing. Yes, loving the results, but like loving the actual work. Often, even when it doesn't make sense. For a lot of these people starting up, they have this passion for XYZ, but didn't make sense. Like, there was no business model attached to it. I don't know how it's going to work out. And so making the big decisions with the heart and not the head, you make the big decisions with the heart and then use your head to help figure out how you're going to make it work, is a consistent theme across all the people that we profiled. At some degree, you're going to have people who will hate on your idea, will tell you that it won't work. Especially the bigger the idea you have, the more people are going to hate against it. Like a lot of people would say, TJ, we don't have greatness within us. Come on, man. Like, what are you trying to do? And the bigger the mission you have, the more people fight because it's changed. They want to protect the status quo. And so if nobody's hating on what you're doing, then you're not actually living a great life. In my opinion, you don't have an important enough mission. And so expecting people to hate on your ideas and then be able to deal with it, I think are some of the key things that keep coming up over and over and over and over again across all successful people. Okay,
so what I heard was have faith, act without the evidence sometimes. You just believe that something great will come out of this. You have a vision for something and you take action despite. I'll just say my wife loves the evidence. Like, show me how that's going to work. She said, show me how that's going to work. You've never written a book before. What does that look like? She couldn't see it, right? Now she asks, when's your next book coming out, right? So it's kind of that model. So we have to act without having the evidence in place, at least initially. And then being careful of the input, right? Because what does Jim Rohn say? We become the average of the 5 people we hang around. So whatever we're allowing in, garbage out. Any other thoughts around success, personal development that you think would be valuable?
Yeah, I think for anybody listening, it's never been easier to get that information. So a lot of people blame their environment, and I think we are a product of our environment, the 5 people closest to us.
Sure.
I think it's never been easier, though, to influence who those 5 people are. You know, if you guys love listening to TJ, you can get, how many episodes of this podcast do you have?
Oh, we're approaching 100 or so. I don't know.
It's like you got 100 episodes and more coming out on a regular basis. Like TJ can be one of those 5. Like, you may not have access to TJ. You may be in some small town. You may not afford to be able to go to his seminars or the travel and all that. You might be saying, like, I'm here in my little tiny town and nobody understands. You could change that. Like, TJ can be one of your 5, and Elon can be one of your 5, and Oprah can be one of your 5, right? It's never been easier to be around the people that you want to be around. And what I encourage people to do is listen. So if they watch my YouTube channel and they learn and they fall in love with some new entrepreneur they've never heard of, great. Like, if that means you jump off of, I'm not one of your 5 anymore, and like Naveen Jain is now one of your 5, great. Or if TJ brings on some awesome guest and you fall in love with her and you're following down her path, awesome. Like, it's never been easier to get the people in your life that you need to help you to get to where you want to go.
That's really great advice. All right. What do you have? What are you working on now? What are some goals you're doing? What are you moving toward? Maybe you can let our audience know.
Yeah, the biggest thing I'm working on is a new series called 254, where it takes up to 254 days to build a habit of consecutive action. Science is between 18 and 254 days, so that's a big range. But basically providing people with a video for free every morning that is 30 seconds to 5 minutes long around the topic. So the first one we did was around confidence. So how to build unstoppable confidence. For the next 254 days, every morning at 5 a.m. Eastern, you get a video for free that's 30 seconds, 5 minutes long, with somebody delivering a message to help you build more confidence. And
is it you delivering the message, or do you invite guests to maybe share a thought?
It's a mix. So it's kind of like a mini version of my channel, but only around confidence.
Right.
So you might get Tony Robbins talking about it. You might get Jim Rohn talking about it. You might get me talking about it. You might get Oprah or whoever it is. It's lots of different people over the 254 days.
Got it.
So that if you did that, my thesis is, if you want more confidence, the way to do it is not to just read a book on confidence and then it goes away, but to have that in your ecosystem every day. So this is your jump start to your morning. That video for the next 254 days, you get another video on confidence. That if you just watch it, you will slowly, it's not an overnight thing, but you will slowly start to embody it a little bit more in your system.
And let me just jump in there and say another way to build confidence too is, yes, fill the mind, right? Feed yourself, but then also going out and taking steps, right? Do something, even if it's small. That sense of progression is critical to developing momentum and confidence, right? Anyway.
Yeah.
Didn't mean to cut you off there.
No, it's great. Like, just, if you want more greatness, listen to TJ every time he's out. You know, like listen to every podcast, watch every video, follow him on every network, and he can't help but talk about greatness in some way every single time. And so if you want greatness, then be around TJ all the time, right?
And if you want the same thing, you can go to F and Carmichael, right? With believe, right? Everything you speak about is believe. So awesome. It's awesome.
That's it. So I'm trying to launch these 254s around different topics. So we did confidence as the first one. I want to do one for self-love, self-respect, all those kinds of things.
Okay, right.
And then applying to different industries as well. So the 254 for writers, the 254 for speakers.
Where do they find this?
It's just on my website, evancarmichael.com.
There we go.
On action plan, and you'll find it. That's the first one, but the plan is to launch like 100 of these.
Wow.
A lot of work.
Oh, that is a lot of work. Yeah. So wait, are you saying confidence 200 and something days just on confidence? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. Because it takes 18 to 254 days to build the habit.
Yeah.
Like then you've embodied it. So I'm giving you, the average is like 66 days to build the habit. But I'm gonna be with you every step of the way. There's no excuse.
Dude,
like, I'm doing my part. I'm there all the way to the end. If it takes you if you are the worst human, you will still get it in 254 days. So I'm going to be there every step of the way.
Wow. On all these core subjects. Wow. Oh, man. Yeah. Okay. Well, that's really cool. Well, I know that our time is up. I appreciate you being on my show. I would love at some future point to connect with you and do some more work. We'll see how that goes in the future. But the time with you has been awesome. You have a great personality. You have great energy. I hope that everyone who is listening goes and checks you out at your website and also your YouTube channel. What is your YouTube channel? I don't remember off the top of my head.
Just have my name, Evan Carmichael. You can find it there.
Carmichael. Okay.
I want to be guest number 250.
Let's do it.
Okay. So when you're at 250, we'll book it in the calendar. We'll make it happen again.
All right, man. Hey, you're the best. Thanks for being on the show. Appreciate it.
Thanks, TJ.
All right.